Sudsbury, and you're watching Riding Supercharged. Today we're going to talk about the 1980 Turbo Trans Am. Yes, it is the Turbo Trans Am. This car was armed with a 4.9 turbocharged V8 that produced 210 horsepower and 345 pound-feet of torque. And this was carbureted. Yes, carbureted, unfortunately. But it still had four-wheel disc brakes in 1980. Some cars wouldn't see disc brakes until 1990. But no, this thing had four-wheel disc brakes in 1980. And the door handles did say four-wheel disc. This car is such a cool car. It is personally one of my favorites. You could get them in T-tops back then. That would be the one I would get. The decal is a little bit different than the standard Trans Am decal. As you can see, there's a long piece of flame coming out the mouth. Again, the decal was put on the hood, then the hood was put on the car. These things were one of Pontiac's fastest and most powerful Firebirds. Unfortunately, turbocharger problems, bad gas mileage led them to be discontinued for the 1982 model year. The turbocharged Firebird would not return again until 1989, but this Pontiac is still legendary, and there are still people that have them around. This is a second-gen Firebird, however, it is on the tail end of the second-gen model years. The second-gen is 71 to 81. This is a 1980, almost a second generation. This car beats its competition. Again, a 1980 Mustang just didn't have the power. A 1980 Camaro had 175 horsepower. This had 210. The Trans Am, the standard 1980 Trans Am, had around 200. This car is definitely a bang for its buck. The Corvette was so much more money. The Corvette was, again, it was more luxurious. It was so much more money. But this car was definitely powerful. Definitely more powerful at that, and way cheaper. This car didn't really conform to EPA emissions all that much, but it's a Firebird. What would you expect? This car is definitely iconic. When Smokey and the Bandit 2 came out, they used the 79 Firebird, and it was just super iconic. The Firebird is one of the most iconic muscle cars in American history. Again, you have Smokey and the Bandit, the 77 Trans Am. You had Smokey and the Bandit 2, the 79 Trans Am. You had Knight Rider with an 82 Trans Am. You had Miami Vice, which featured a lot of Trans Ams. This car even was more powerful than the 1980 Mustang Cobra. And the 1980 Mustang Cobra was turbocharged with a 4-cylinder. That's right. Pontiac wasn't the only one turbocharging their cars. But this thing right here, this car has 210 horsepower. The competition, which was the 1980 Mustang Cobra. The 1980 Mustang Cobra only had 132 horsepower, and it was turbocharged. But it had a smaller engine. A way smaller engine. This car was armed with an automatic transmission. They did try to put some luxury in the Trans Am, as you were paying quite a bit of money back then for a muscle car, but every automaker was beginning to start orienting more luxury with their expensive cars. And quite honestly, I think for a American muscle car, this thing did come with some luxury, but obviously in years to come there would be more luxury. But the body styling is what gets me. The aggressive body styling. I just love the nose, and the chin spoiler is fabricated onto the body. Again, the nose is polyurethane, the chin spoiler is probably polyurethane or some hard plastic, that is. Again, in 1980, they were starting to use a lot of vinyl and plastic to save money. As you can see, the seatbelt shoulder guides in this picture is definitely plastic. This car has a louver put onto it. You can see it has a louver. That is not factory. They did become factory, though, in the 80s. The rims are not stock, but they are some cool rally rims at that. But everything else on this car looks and appears to be stock. This car is my second most favorite Firebird, and with that, signing off.